Hello guys, my name is Piero. Welcome to my channel Paisa Sports. Thank you for tuning in today. Today we have a very interesting video where we'll be analyzing this week's Champions League games. A lot to talk about, lots of very entertaining games. So let's get right to that. First game we're going to talk about is Bayern Munich versus Besiktas. The score was 5-0. So Bayern Munich are pretty much done with that tie. Unfortunately for Besiktas, that game was really close the first 15 minutes. They were both creating chances on both sides. Unfortunately, that mistake on the back pass that led to the Besiktas center back being sent off really changed the game. But Bayern Munich were still not able to get fully through the first half. They weren't able to take advantage of that one man down. We had said in the preview that Besiktas were going to suffer the loss of Shakhtar for this game. And that they did. They started Wagner Love, who had two clear-cut chances in the first half and would have been huge for the game, and he missed them both. That hurt Besiktas very much. Believe it or not, Bayern were playing really well, but not getting fully through on goal. Once James Rodriguez got injured, kind of changed the game a bit because Arjen Robben came in, and Bayern Munich got a different edge to their game. They were more vertical, which led to the first goal on a rebound by Müller. But Bayern were still underwhelming on the first half. They could not get the foothold on the game, specifically in front of goal, which is rather uncharacteristic from the German side. Besiktas held up all they could, but unfortunately that one man down proved too much, and Bayern just overpowered them by the end. Lewandowski was as prolific as always. He scored a brace. And he keeps his good form going. Hopefully this carries over for them to the later stages of the Champions League, since they're pretty much done with this tie and they're most likely going to get through, bearing a miracle in Turkey. Yeah, this is a done deal for Bayern Munich. Great result for them. Besiktas were unlucky, but it was a lot part of their fault too, because Wagner Love would have made his chances at the beginning, and this game could have gone a lot differently. Second game we're going to talk about is Shakhtar Donetsk versus Roma. As it was advertised, this game was very even, nothing between the two sides. Roma was a bit better, and it was surprising because they were playing in Ukraine. We had talked about in the preview that Edin Dzeko had to be prolific. He had to carry over his form from the Serie A. Unfortunately, that didn't happened too well. He had two clear-cut chances in the first half that he missed, and that ended up costing them later on in the game. He did have one positive play, which was the great assist to Under capitalized and made that 1-0. And the way Roma were playing, it looked like they were going to pull the result through, but Shakhtar Donetsk proved too much. They kept grinding, kept playing their game, and eventually a defensive lapse led to Ferreira's 1-1. Uncharacteristic on Roma, they pretty much left a lot of space for him to work on. The center back that was covering him did a terrible job of not preventing the cut, and then Ferreira got a clear shot on goal from that. That gave Shakhtar Donetsk energy. It lifted their spirits. The crowd got back into it, and then all of a sudden Roma went from dominating to being dominant. It looked like the game was going to end 1-1, but once again Fred, the game changer, with that beautiful free kick. It gives them a slight lead, a 2-1 lead. Roma's gonna feel like they let this one go. They were very wasteful at the beginning. They could have had at least 2 more goals, and they could have gone with a positive result. This tie is wide open. Not sure if Roma can turn this around because of the way Shakhtar Donetsk play. They have a lot of game changers up top, but this tie is wide open. It could go anywhere, and we'll just have to wait and see. Roma need to make adjustments. I do not think Edin Dzeko would be as wasteful at home if he were presented with the same chances. So I see that Shakhtar Donetsk might have to tighten up their defense more on the return tide. All in all, it was a very entertaining game. Both sides were pretty even, and it was an up and down affair. I'm really looking forward to the return leg. Next thing we're going to talk about is Sevilla versus Man United. It was a very entertaining game right from the get-go. The pre-game, the atmosphere, the crowd was rocking. It had a big match feel to it. And I have to say, the game disappointed a little bit. It wasn't as electric as I thought. Sevilla started well, they were controlling the game, but they lacked creativity in the front. It seemed like they were lost and did not know what to do on the final third. They did not create that many clear-cut chances in the first half and in the game overall. United struggled, created very few chances. Their game did not look fluid at all. I'm not sure if the end product would have been different and the Herrera got injured. I said in the preview that Paul Pogba was a big key for this game if he were to play. He did play, but he was irrelevant. I'm really starting to think that this system and the way Mourinho plays is really affecting him, as well as the pressure of being the one that has to lead Man United to better results. Alexis Sanchez was anonymous as well. Sevilla's defense, we can't really tell if they played in their poorest ways because they weren't tested much. I also said in the preview that Romelu Lukaku had to score, had to be prolific. He had just a couple chances, but he had one clear cut in the first half through a tremendous pass by Alexis Sanchez, and he sent his volley out wide. Been in shaky form, that carried over to this game as well, and that missed chance might be rude in the return leg. One man that did show up and pretty much was the reason why this game ended 0-0 was David De Gea. We already know he's one of the top stoppers in the world, but what he did today was absolutely world class. That stop on Muriel was the stuff of legends, and this is 0-0 because De Gea had a great game. Mourinho's men need to tighten up, and I'm not sure if this is a good result. The way they played, the way Sevilla attacked, like I said, not too creative, but they created a lot more chances. So the 0-0 might complicate United a bit. They haven't showed the ability to score plenty of goals yet, even though they have a huge offensive firepower. But let's say in the return leg Sevilla score first, you're putting United in a situation where they have to score 2 goals right off the bat. And I'm not sure if they're capable of that, which is why I'm not sure that this result is all that positive. Of course, Mourinho, if United score first, he's going to throw the team back. So it might be that in the return leg, the key here is whoever scores first wins. We'll just have to wait and see, but there's a lot of questions remaining on this tie. The last game we're going to talk about was the biggest, Chelsea-Barcelona. Very hyped, and it did not disappoint at all. It was a rather strange game tactically. The first surprise was that William started and that Antonio Conte decided not to play with a number 9. He left both Giroud and Alvaro Morata on the bench and put Hazard up as the number 9 and then played William on Hazard's spot. That was a surprise for me because I did not think that due to Hazard's size he wasn't going to have much effect on defenders like PK and stuff like that, and that proved true. Barcelona pretty much controlled the first 30 minutes. Chelsea did not see much of the ball, but Conte seemed content with that. He wasn't giving Barcelona much spaces, and that's kind of how it shaped in the first half. What I did notice was that Barcelona were not creating many chances. They weren't very vertical, they weren't very decisive. Outside of Messi making 2 brilliant runs into the box, there was not much here offensively from Barcelona in the first half. After minute 30 or so, we had a run by William, who I predicted he was going to be the spark plug, and that he was on this game. He had a brilliant run with a good shot that ended up in the post. He won a free kick. He was just great this whole game. He was the one that scored the goal, so he was the game changer for Chelsea. In the second half, Chelsea kept on with this strategy of not letting Barcelona have too many spaces, and Barcelona kept being frustrated by not finding chances. Like I said, outside of Lionel Messi, there wasn't much being done. I did notice that Luis Suarez was very alone up top. There wasn't much connection between him and the rest of the players, which obviously affected his play. Here is the biggest key, in my opinion. Chelsea were pretty much playing the perfect game. They had neutralized Barcelona's high power attack. They were creating their chances. They were keeping the clean sheet. They were pretty much walking away with a great result. Even though it was just a 1-0, it was great because of the clean sheet. Big mistake by Christensen leads to the Barcelona goal. You cannot make those mistakes in the stages, especially against Barcelona. They're gonna rue this because they were on their way to a terrific result. But that goal by Messi, now makes it really complicated. Barcelona got the away goal. They're going to be at the Camp Nou. They can afford to let Chelsea score one. This just really favors the tie towards Barcelona. Obviously, another side fact here is that Messi had played against Chelsea for 8 games in the Champions League, and he had never scored against them. This was his first goal. And what a way to do it, because this might be the goal that changes the tie around. Chelsea's not completely dead in the water yet, but definitely more difficult. They have to go into Barcelona looking to score at least 1 goal, which proves no easy task. And I'm not so sure if the strategy of sitting back and letting Barcelona have the ball might work too well in the Camp Nou. I'm sure they're going to be more intense. They're going to create a lot more chances. And this might be a more high-scoring affair. So if Chelsea decide to sit back, they might end up finding themselves in a big hole early, and that's not what you want to do against Barcelona. I'm not sure if I was Antonio Conte if I would play again without a number 9. William was great, but I would see him more sitting Pedro and playing William, letting Hazard play in his regular position, and playing with either Giroud or Alvaro Morata. Because against Barcelona, a number 9 will be needed. They have 2 really tall, fast, powerful center backs in Umtiti and Piqué. I think Alvaro Morata might be better fitted for the return leg, but he hasn't been in the best form. So we will see what Antonio Conte does. Like I said, the tie is not sealed yet, but Barcelona got a pretty positive result, and it took a huge first step towards the quarterfinals. Well, that wraps it up for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you liked the video, please leave a thumbs up and subscribe. Lots of great content still to come. If you think I missed something, if you disagree with something I say, if you saw something differently, please leave a comment down below. I would love to hear your opinions. As always, thank you for tuning in, and I will see you guys in the next video.